guy? You getting ready to fight Tyson Fury?
Bro, Ngannou got robbed.
What a surprise, eh? Boxing matches are rigged? Who knew?
Man, everything in the world is fucking rigged. Like, I sound like an old head, but like, man, nothing's authentic anymore. There's too much money. There's too much betting involved. Too many, like, sports books are on the line. Like, you watch something and you're like, that's a goal, right? And then you see these crazy non-parallel lines and you're like, it's offside. It's like, no, it's a goal. Like anyone with their right mind could see it's a goal.
Yeah, man. Welcome.
Oh.
I'm glad you finally realized it.
Bro, even the Nuggets championship.
No, that's not rigged.
Rigged.
That's not rigged. No asterisk here. As pure of a championship as you can get. Played the best team in the East.
They wanted the Lakers to get swept because all the LA fanboys had money on them. So Vegas wins.
What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to the Hoops Corner. I'm your host, Peter Tran, and on the line, looking a little hazy, but out of the doghouse, Josh Cohen, how you doing?
Feeling fine. It's been a very interesting start to the season. A lot of different storylines. Looking forward to talking to you guys for the first time in a while about all the goings-on in the NBA.
Oh, wow, what a summary. Wow. The banger in the paint, our residential medical expert. Rajon Walia, can you just give me your honest opinion. If you watch 41 games of that Indiana Pacers play in court, how detrimental is that to your eyes?
I don't even think my eyes have recovered. And we're talking about the in-season tournament. I think, you know when you get those highlighter packs as a kid? It's like you took the highlighter yellow and the highlighter blue and you just drew 3 lines across and that's what the court was. It was atrocious. My eyes will never recover.
Dude, do you guys like any of these courts? Like any of these in-season tournament courts? Because they're just they're brutal to look at, right?
I mean, at least it makes a point of, you know what you're getting into here. It's not a normal game.
This guy.
Right here, these are the colors. This is Indiana.
Sure. Yes. It doesn't signify it, but damn, man, those things are rough. I played ball the next morning and I heard, I was shitting on it all night. And then I heard these two guys talking about how much they love the courts. So what the hell were you watching last night? How is that possible?
You know what they should have done? And it probably would have been just better appreciated? Release signature jerseys. Instead of having 12 jerseys per year, have a home and away, an alternate, and then an in-season jersey, which is a really unique jersey. Every year you can make it super different. You can make the colors different. Keep the court the same color. I don't want to pretend like I'm watching this futuristic game in the year 2300. It was hard to watch. You couldn't even see the ball half the time. And then some courts, it looked okay. Milwaukee, a cream color, I can live with. Highlighter yellow and blue, please. It's hard enough watching Indy sometimes.
I think the court that was the worst was Chicago's. I think it was Chicago, right?
Yeah.
That played that day?
Yeah.
The red court?
Yeah.
And the other problem was watching Indiana's game. I watched the first game. The court was super slippery. There's a lot of players that are slipping all over the court. So you just tell that the hardwood has never been used before, I guess, and it just soaked up moisture and the players were slipping all over the place in the first couple of quarters. It's very dangerous.
Yeah, there were stories of Denver's court not having the correct measurements for the 3-point line as well. So they had to repaint the lines. Come on, man.
High school threes.
Come on. I do like that idea of having specific jerseys for the in-season tournament though. That's a good idea. And if we can bring...
They should use the vintage jerseys, the very first jersey that they've ever used in that franchise's history. That'd be cool. Bring those back.
Yeah, but those are already in circulation though. A lot of teams still use throwbacks. The Grizzlies use their throwbacks all the time. Not all the time, but once or twice a year. And Nike got to get that jersey money.
Don't do that though. I think that's a good way of, creating a new revenue stream is bringing those jerseys back. Because a lot of those jerseys are really cool too, right?
Yeah.
So
especially with vintage jerseys and vintage gear being such the trend nowadays. I think it could be a good way that, oh wow, like you're watching them play in their 95 jersey, the Raptors inaugural season. Like, you know, they're playing an in-season tournament game. And another thing too is like, you can make the courts look a little different. Like, you can put an old logo at the center court, or like put the old logo inside the paint. So when you're looking at a replay, you like know that, oh wait, this is the court that they had from 95. Like, why do they have, like, do they have investments in colored hardwood? Like, I honestly, like, the way they're marketing with, like, their league, they're definitely losing a lot of the older fans. And I don't even think they're winning over a lot of the younger fans, because some of this stuff's just uncool.
No, kids watch stuff on, like, highlights anyways. How many kids actually watch games anymore, you know? I hope some of them do, because
Kids have short attention spans, but honestly, in the first night, most of the games were spectacular. So I don't know if that's because of the tournament or because it's just a night where a bunch of competitive teams were playing each other, but every single game was pretty close besides the Washington game, I believe.
Surprise, surprise, Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right, so what are we, like a week in? 2 weeks? Week and a half? 2 weeks
2
into the
weeks.
season? A lot's happened. A lot has also not happened, like, you know, the Memphis Grizzlies winning games. That hasn't happened a lot. But the Washington Wizards, you know, coming across a win. So why don't you guys give me, you know, something that's piqued your interest, a team that's, like, stood out to you, a player. If you want to talk about Victor Wembanyama just destroying the league and reminding people that he's, like, you know, 9 feet tall with, like, a 13-foot wingspan, feel free. Raj, give me something good.
For me, there's two storylines and they both come out of the East, but I'm going to pick on one. The Milwaukee Bucks defense is just atrocious. And of course, coming in with Dame this year, like, there was going to be an adjustment period, losing Drew Holiday, giving up a few pieces that really worked well with their team historically, with Grayson Allen actually being a pretty valuable piece overall with how they played. But, like, Dame in the backcourt is, I don't know if it's Dame or if it's an effort or a system that Adrian Griffin is trying to play, but they are giving up pretty much everything. Like, behind the 3-point line, inside the paint, transition defense is bad. Other teams that are playing them are just getting whatever shot they'd like. And you know what? This actually puts up a lot of, I guess, interesting arguments about, was Dame really doing enough on the defensive end in Portland? Of course, he was never going to become a defensive ball stopper, but maybe Portland was limited in a sense that, yes, they could score a lot of points when he was a trailblazer, but they were just leaking points because their defensive backcourt with him and McCollum, him and Alfred Simons was, again, like, very porous to say the least. And honestly, I don't see the Bucks going far this year. Like, I think if they run into even a somewhat challenging matchup in the first round, at most second round, I could see them being knocked out.
I mean, you can say that right now for sure, but I think a lot of this depends on Chris Middleton and how he comes back this season. Because he's only been playing 16 minutes a game or 20 minutes a game, whatever it is now after the last game. And the Bucks completely changed their defensive scheme 2 games ago, going back to the drop defense. And then as soon as they did that, Brook Lopez had 7 blocks, and the Bucks won. So, you know, they had discussed with the players. Obviously, Adrian Griffin was trying to install something that just wasn't manageable with the player personnel that they had. And the players said they were more comfortable with going back to the drop defense, and it immediately worked. And the last couple games, they've been a little bit better. So the bigger problem, obviously, is personnel-wise. Like, you can't have Malik Beasley starting as your 2-guard when you have Damian Lillard in the backcourt. So I think they're going to have to upgrade that spot, obviously. They sort of have to make, like, a Golden State-type trade when they traded Wiseman for Gary Payton. They just need, like, a Gary Payton type of player, right? They just need a guy that can eat up minutes, be a guy that can be an irritant on defense, and then hit a couple shots every once in a while. They don't need a guy like Malik Beasley who's completely playing out of his player profile in that he's just a shooter that comes off screens and puts up points. And now he's being asked to be like the stopper on defense, which never made any sense. So they either need Beauchamp to really step up or they need to make a trade soon.
Yeah, I thought they were so high on Marjan. What happened there? Like, I mean, he has glimpses of I don't want to say stardom, but like, glimpses of him being a really productive role player, and then most of the games he's sort of just not around, not there, not given the opportunity, not given enough time.
Yeah, I think with younger players, like you're seeing this in Houston right now. Like Houston has a ton of young players, and none of them are playing off the bench because Udoka's going with like 8 guys right now that he trusts. And I think right now Griffin's trying to figure out who he trusts, especially off the bench. Crowder's been one of those guys, but he's been hit or miss like always with him. Usually
Playoff performer.
Sorry. Yeah,
Clutch performer.
Sure. And, Portis has gotten off to a pretty rocky start so far as well. So, the Bucks definitely need to figure something out. But the problem is they don't have a lot of assets anymore now that they made all these trades. They have some second-round picks, I guess. And, with the new rules as well, it's hard to match salary based on them being over the salary cap. So they're going to have to get creative. And like you said, Raj, maybe they just are a second-round and out team, if that.
Ooh.
Of course, Dame can hit shots and really kind of allows Giannis a little more space than Drew did. But like, if I look at this team compared to last year's team, I actually think if you ran the season 100 times, the team with Drew probably does overall in the regular season a little better. And I think even in the playoffs does just as well. Because he's a menace on defense. He really gives you like an elite perimeter defense, and then you have Giannis and Brook Lopez. You do have some additional scoring with Middleton. Brook Lopez is there to space the floor. Like, you have a lot more weapons. I feel with Dame and Giannis, like, of course, 2 dominant players, 2 of the best offensive players in the league, and obviously Giannis's defense is incredible, but like, I just think the secondary pieces, they're just not good enough to make a deep run in the playoffs, especially considering what's happening in the East with the other team that I didn't have a chance to talk about, but I'm sure we'll talk about tons this season.
I will say I am looking forward to seeing what Raj's opinion on them is in about 2 weeks' time, because their next few opponents, Detroit, Indiana, Orlando, Chicago, Toronto, Charlotte, and then Dallas, Washington. So you got some Washingtons in there. They got 2 games against Washington coming up. So I think their record is going to be changing in the next couple of weeks, and we'll see if Raj's tune also changes at that time.
No, I saw what I needed to see from them. Again,
it's still early though, right? Like they haven't even figured out the Giannis Dame pick and roll thing yet. They barely even run that play, which is very odd. So they have a lot of stuff to figure out. It's early in the season, so things will probably definitely change.
I'm more shocked at Raj saying that Dame is the reason that the Trailblazers never went far in the West.
No, I'm not saying that he's the reason. He obviously carried that team. Like, he was the reason they made it wherever they did in the playoffs or good regular season runs. But like, I think there just wasn't enough emphasis on, obviously what he brings offensively. No one doubts that. It's just how limited of a defender he is. And there's even been some questions about effort on defense, like early on this season with the Bucks. Like, I think he's just letting people blow by him. And again, of course, he's an offensive player, but I think probably people need to look a little more and say, hey, Dame, like, if you want to be the guy, you got to just put up a little better effort on defense.
He's also old, though. 33-year-old point guard. Smaller guy. I mean, it kind of makes sense that he's not able to keep up with a lot of players now, right? Especially like these younger, faster point guards. Like, imagine him trying to keep up with Tyrese Maxey or Malik Beasley trying to keep up with Maxey. It's going to be impossible.
That's why they're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, New York put him in every single pick and roll, and Brunson scored 45. So there's that too.
And Brunson's not even fast. He's crafty.
He's quick.
He's crafty. He's got like, he's explosive, but he's not fast.
No.
Imagine him trying to run with a Dennis Schroeder. Woo!
Huh.
Goodbye. Imagine him running with Drew.
The MVP.
Oh,
my apologies.
Thank you.
Get it right, Peter.
Unrelated to Damian Lillard, though. Apparently that game with the Raptors game where they were in San Antonio basically had the FIBA
comeback.
World. Yes, the Scotty Barnes comeback. had the FIBA World Cup MVP versus the phenom of Victor Wembanyama, aired across 132 countries. Imagine that. 132 countries having to watch the Raptors play.
Peter, you sound like a robot.
I know, Peter, your internet's bugging out.
It is. I'm sorry. Did you get any of that?
Victor Wembanyama.
132 countries.
Oh my god, this internet.
Around the world.
Around the world.
Peter's... Is this image stuck for you too?
Yeah,
like
just... Yeah, there he is. Now it's back.
Oh, there we go.
Man. This is the second time it cut out too. Alright, Josh, give me something nice here. What do you got for us?
Well, I gotta talk about the team that I picked to be the first seed in the West last year, and that is the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Shout out, Josh!
Oh my goodness. I had a feeling you were going to go here. Alright, go on. Sing your praises.
I mean, they are ranked first in defense right now. Rudy Gobert doesn't look like a corpse like he did last year, which is a good sign. Jaden McDaniels, since coming back from injury, has played very, very well, and he shut literally everyone down yesterday in the game against Boston. And they're one of those teams that they have so many good defensive wings that if they're going against a team like Boston, they actually have a shot every single night. And they're the only team so far that's beaten both Denver and Boston, the favorites in both conferences. So I think Minnesota's gotten off to a nice start, and that's despite Karl Anthony Towns shooting like 10% on the year so far, and looking terrible yesterday, and committing fouls that he shouldn't, like usual, and complaining about them like he shouldn't, as usual. Minnesota, they look like a good team so far, and with good continuity, and it's always good to have Mike Conley at the helm, obviously, running things. And Anthony Edwards is currently making the leap, so I think I see good things in their future.
Yo, though, hold on, Raj, before you go. That play where Karl Anthony Towns fouled Jason Tatum on that jumper for his sixth foul, it was like at the elbow. It wasn't even close to the wrist, not the hand, like legitimately at his elbow. And he, man, Karl Anthony Towns might be like one of the most frustrating players to watch. Just because you're like, what are you complaining about, dog? Just let it go. Sometimes you commit a foul. Just it is what it is.
In those scenarios, the referee should force the player to come with them to the scorer's table. And be like, all right, do you really think you didn't commit this foul? I'll bet you
an extra foul.
And if you're wrong, you get kicked out of the next game. You're suspended for a game and you lose $1 million.
Raj, he's proposing a red card.
Yeah, 2 for 1. Yeah, exactly. Violent conduct. 2-match ban.
It should be like that, honestly.
Oh my god!
Like Luka's already gotten 2 technicals in 6 games. Like
half the league won't play any of the games, man. You're not gonna have a rest problem anymore because none of them will play.
Exactly, we have a player problem.
Yeah, players will adjust them by next year. They're not going to complain anymore. So we have to see all this nonsense happening all the time.
You know who surprisingly doesn't complain is Kawhi. The guy, whenever there's like a foul called on him, he's just like whatever. He just walks away.
No. He gives a face. He's like, right? Yeah, and he like looks around, but it just continues.
Yeah, he doesn't actually yell at the refs. He's just like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, yes, the Minnesota Timberwolves, surprisingly good this year. And Rudy Gobert is actually looking like spry. Aside from getting posted by by Jaylen Brown with that vicious dunk. Yeah, Gobert.
He almost sat on him afterwards too.
He should have. he should have done that. Remember when Pippen dunked on Ewing and then just like walked right over him with like shoved his nuts?
I thought he was gonna do that. It looked exactly the same.
He should have, or just like pointed at him like Sean Kemp back in the day. Do something, man.
There wasn't enough emotion there. There wasn't enough taunting.
It's because
he needed a technical foul there.
They'd probably give him a flagrant in this NBA, man.
Yeah, it's true.
Talk about having to sit the next game.
Okay, now hold on a second. The reviews right now are completely ridiculous too. Like the fact that these reviews are taking longer somehow this year. What is going on?
And they're going.
How did they not fix this yet? The NHL doesn't have this problem. Like, how does the NBA have this problem?
And they're like going straight to Secaucus. What is this?
And then all you see is a bunch of people in Secaucus that are like talking to each other and not actually looking at the play.
They're like
and then 5 minutes later, the ref goes back to the scoring table and goes back on the mic. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, just fix this shit already. Nobody wants to watch that.
They're on their lunch break.
They probably have pre-recorded segments. Like the game is like at the intro, right? They're just eating, and then that's what they show a little clip of. Like it is ridiculous. This is a problem when you have people who are very disconnected with A, what fans want to see, B, with what the league is about. Like, obviously, like, you want to make sure you get the right call, but if you're looking at the play for 3-4 minutes and you can't come to a decision, stick with the decision on the court. Plain and simple. It should be something that should be like a clear, oh yeah, like, you didn't make any contact, no foul, ball awarded to the defensive team. Move on. Like, let's just talk about that later, because it's going to be an issue the whole year.
I'm going to solve this right now. Either no replays, which is not going to happen, or 30-second shot clock. You look at it, or Secaucus tells them what's happening within 30 seconds.
Yes.
Done.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
That's it.
Done. Yeah. Putting a clock on the review is key.
Yeah, I 100% agree. But going back to the Timberwolves, Josh, you're very much an assist man. You basically gave all the reasons why they're a surprise team or playing well, but you also gave all the reasons why this probably won't last the entire year. First and foremost, of course, Ant has made the leap. Big Ant fan here. Of course, I think he's one of the more underrated stars in this league. But they are, I don't want to even say an injury away, but Jaden McDaniels is so important to that team that if they lose him, then I think this could be a team that goes from being a top 4 seed, maybe 4-5 seed, to maybe being a 8-9 seed. And I think
but you can say that about any team.
Yeah, but
and they have Kyle Anderson on the bench. He's solid, man.
He's solid, but he's good in the backup role. The other thing too, as well, is Mike Conley. I think he's good in the role he's in, but I think they probably could benefit from having one more really good ball handler, because I can foresee a situation just with the volume that Ant is playing, and him being kind of really the ignition to the entire offense, that teams will lock in on him or either make him score 50 and shut everyone else down every night. And he's capable, but it's not something that's sustainable. And if they do want to take that leap, like, I don't think, unfortunately, Walker Alexander is, Nickeil Alexander-Walker is the solution.
NWA.
Yeah, exactly. But Shake Milton, maybe, but again, not enough of like getting others involved. They really do need another guard to help that team. And again, I think another thing is like Jaden McDaniels is, yes, you say they have a lot of good wings, but he is the wing they need. He played like 43 minutes or something against the Celtics.
It's cool, man. They have the best big man shooter ever who throws like the wildest assists or like, passes to nobody into the crowd. It's fine. They'll be perfectly okay with Cat just turning the ball over constantly.
Jaden McDaniels played 45 minutes in an overtime game. That's crazy.
What's wrong with that?
You're gonna run him into the ground. He's like your only true wing defender.
Game. It's an overtime game.
He's like 23.
He's so young. Yeah, what are you talking about?
Tatum played 43 minutes.
And Tatum's older.
Yeah, but does he? Yeah, but Tatum also plays like 22 minutes when they play Washington.
So? What are you getting at?
I'm saying...
You think that rest time really matters?
Yeah, I think so. He's playing a lot of minutes. He's coming off an injury. They were managing his minutes earlier this year, but again, he's one injury away, and I think this team is completely different without him. Obviously, we can say that about Jokic and Giannis, but this is not like... This is your 5th player on your team. Like, he's like, you have Ant, Cat, Rudy, then probably Jaden McDaniels in terms of like importance.
Naz Reid, team's third leading scorer. Just saying, Naz Reid deserves a shout out.
Naz, man, he's been nice this year.
He's been nice as a career.
In 23.8 minutes per game, he's averaging 15.7 on this team. Those are efficient ass scoring numbers, man. Whew. That's all I can say. He should play more. He should play more than Cat.
Oh, probably. Probably stays on the court longer.
Yo, Cat is a 1C star, probably top like 30, 40 player in the league. Name them off. Go.
All right. LeBron, Anthony Davis. Yeah. Josh, would you rather have Cat? Would you say Cat or Siakam is a better star player?
Siakam.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, man.
I know it pained you to
depends
say
on what kind
that.
of team you're building, obviously, but if you're trying to win, then Siakam.
This guy betrayed
If you're
his
trying to
boy
win.
Cat, man. I can't believe you betrayed
I'm
him.
out on Cat now.
I can't believe.
I'm out on him.
I can't believe you betrayed him. What happened? What tipped you off?
Him being on my fantasy team the last 2 years.
Come on, man. That's it? That's all it took?
Listen to Josh. If you're trying to win, what type of team if you're trying to win, then Siakam. What are the other options?
Some teams are not in the business of winning, my friend. They are in the business of making money.
And to be honest, even the teams who are in the business of winning aren't very good at it. Like, picture the Timberwolves after Kevin Garnett and basically before Andrew Wiggins. Like, that whole Kevin Love era, that's basically what Cat is doing now, except Kevin Love was a lot nicer to watch play ball. Cat's just real, he's big, he's lumbering. It's not as smooth as watching Kevin Love in his prime play ball.
And he's playing out of position, too. Like, if he was actually playing center, I'm sure he'd be putting up better stats. But the fact they're playing him out in the wing, like, it just doesn't make any sense besides just being huge, defensively, I guess. And it worked against Denver, so maybe they have something there, Maybe they're the one team that can slow Denver down.
Oh my God, Josh. Are you from Minnesota?
I'm from a very cold place.
Yeah.
Which is like, Minnesota in Canada, right? It's like the Canada version.
Same. Yo, Minnesota is actually a higher latitude than Toronto is, so they are the north.
Oh, there you go. And they stole that, from Minnesota. Minnesota wanted to use that. I think they might have used that before Toronto.
I think they used it the year after Toronto started using it. Hilariously, so I went to the Raptors season opener against Minnesota, and their whole marketing campaign this year was, "We are the North." Just because you have a higher latitude doesn't mean that we are not the North. Kind of cheesy.
We are that was on the shirt. We are the North.
It was something along those lines, like that type of messaging. The North is ours.
Whoever wins this game is the North, and Toronto won. So whoever won the game is the North, and Toronto won the game. So Toronto's the North.
So they played for the North, huh?
They played for the North.
That's a shame. But yeah, so what do you think? Raj, if I'm hearing this correctly, you're not high on this team because you think Jaden McDaniels is the most important player. So if they were to move Cat for another stretch four, would you be happier with this team?
I don't know if Cat will get them what they need to make them a true contender in the West. I love Ant. I think that over the course of his career, he's going to be a prolific top 5 player. I truly believe in him. I just don't think having Rudy as a centerpiece or one of the centerpieces of your team is a long-term solution just because he gives you very little offensively. And teams can really play off of him. And when they do play off of him, it really makes it harder for your other 4 guys on the court to get spacing, to score. And even then, when Rudy has an advantage, has a mismatch, he's on a guy who's 6'5", 6'6" in the post, he can't capitalize consistently. And I think that is a bigger issue than Cat or Jaden McDaniels as well. But I think this current team right now, you just are relying on Ant a little too much. And I think defensively, you're going to ask Jaden McDaniel to pretty much play 40 minutes a game for the entire season.
Oh, wow. Never thought I'd hear you say
I think that's overdoing it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think your Jaden McDaniels, thought process here is being clouded by the last game that they played. He's not going to play 40 minutes a game. Come on.
Yeah.
We'll see.
This is a lot of praise for for the 4th option on a team.
I'm not saying he's gonna be the MVP of their team. I'm saying I think they need him defensively because when you play with those two bigs, you really need a ball stopper on the wing.
Like, Go ahead.
We've been talking about the parallels between Minnesota and Toronto, and he basically is Minnesota's OG, right? He's got to be the guy that's on the court at all times because he just shuts down everybody, just like OG.
Hey, OG is going somewhere, so we could talk about that when we get closer to trade deadline or somewhere. But
for what, 5 first-round picks? No, thank you.
Masai
better.
OG is going nowhere.
Yeah, Masai better change that price before he can move OG. Man, that guy is not going anywhere for that price. Should know better. I'm just surprised that you don't care about fourth men on other teams so much. Like, is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope playing too much for you too?
He ain't playing 40 minutes a game, that's for sure.
Jason McDaniels played 40 minutes in one game in an overtime game.
Roger's quite worried.
I would be if I was the Timberwolves.
Oh my god, man. Roger's going to make him rest for like 4 games after this.
They should, if they want to go somewhere in their life. But enough with Minnesota, Milwaukee. That's too much of the North. Let's just talk about one other team, and we've touched upon it in the preview, but Memphis is bad.
Wow, I was going to talk about Memphis. How did you know? That's incredible.
Well, you prefaced it in the beginning. So you know what? I'm going to let you have your monologue, Peter. Take it away.
Oh my god. Yeah, did either of you think that Memphis would be this bad, losing to Portland and Washington? Like, just take that in. These are going to be the 2 worst teams in the league. Like, they are the 2 teams that everyone's guaranteed to be tanking this year. And Memphis somehow lost to both of them.
They're not. Jaren Jackson is a good player in theory. I'm not blaming him, but like, it's just, him and Desmond Bane are clearly not the guys that are going to carry your team. Like, it's not that they're not, like, Desmond Bane has been playing decent overall. Like, he's been really carrying that team. But I just think, like, at a certain point when you are, like, now the number 1 and 2 options on a team, like, you just can't lose to Washington. You just have to take over. And especially if you're as good as Jaren Jackson is, you got to play a bit better. And yeah, like, they're just not good. They're not fun to watch. I don't think you can, like, say, like, there's one single reason they lost, but obviously John Morant not being there is huge, but they're not good.
Raj A. Bayless over here.
I love it.
Oh my goodness. What a take that was. Oh my god.
I love it.
You're blaming the 2 best players on the team when can you name 3 players off their bench that have been playing consistent minutes?
Almada? Off their bench?
He's played 1 game.
He's played 1 game and played 20 minutes. That doesn't count. And he also, no. He played in the 1 game they won.
I've watched them because I have a few fantasy players. Luke Kennard.
He's played in a couple games, but he's been injured too.
Okay.
But he wasn't very good when he played.
Derrick Rose.
Same.
He again injured.
Yeah.
Then Tillman is injured now, but he was their starting center.
Yeah.
They have that other guy. Lofton's barely played. Roddy.
Big body.
Yeah, they played a guy named Jacob Gilliard last game. So
and they have Bismack now.
They did start Bismack. But it's just going to my point, like, they just don't have enough around them. And, like, last year, they actually had, the last couple of years, they've always had supporting players who you're like, these guys are solid dudes, you know?
That's
and
true.
they thought that their young players would step up this year, like first-year guys that are now second-year guys. And they just haven't done it. Like, Laravia's not playing anymore. Zaire Williams, he started the year okay, but in the last couple of games, he's been very much a miss. And they just don't have enough around those 3 guys. Like, Marcus Smart is your 3rd best player right now. So that's not ideal, right? There's so many talented teams in the West right now, it's hard to get away with. The core of, like, John Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson is one of the best cores in the NBA. But they had a bunch of guys around them, and now they don't because they've either traded them away with, like, DeAnthony Melton, or Brandon Clark got injured. So you just have a lot of uncertainty around the team. And this this is honestly might be the year where they might be better off just sort of tanking
No
unintentionally.
No way that they tank. No way.
No.
I'm not saying they're going to tank. I'm saying they're going to do it unintentionally because they might be so bad by the time John Morant gets back that they might just say, all right, let's bring them along really slowly. And then as the year progresses, be like, all right, maybe he's going to be out with a couple injuries. And then you're what?
Yeah.
You can't just do the math here. Like, by the time he gets back, they're going to be what? Like 6 and
19.
19? If they're lucky.
Yeah.
Maybe they win 10 games or 10 and 15. And then you just do the math of like them getting in the playoffs, like the top 6 seeds. It's pretty tough, right? They might be in the play-in, but is that the position you really want to be in? I don't know. I think they're in a good position financially. They have all their draft picks. So if you had a lottery pick to that, then you can come back next year fresh, and hopefully John Morant is head on his shoulders, and you can come back and have something even more special.
I don't see it just because they've had so much success as a young team, and they want to continue to try to play winning basketball, and they want their players to continue to develop. Of course, staying healthy is super important, and I get it. Like, I don't think they're going to be blowing up their team or making a drastic move at the end of or near the end of the trade deadline to make an upgrade. But I still think.
I think you have to do that, though. Like, by the way you're thinking, I think that you have to do something major if you're going to get back into the thick of things this year. Like, you have to make a 4 first-round pick for OG type of trade, or else you may just be out of it based on the math right now.
Yeah, but I think they might just kind of ride it out and try to win as many games as they can with their team and let the young guys develop, knowing that, hey, like, this year was a bit of a write-off because Ja got injured. They have a few other injuries. Their depth isn't as good. And then the year after, like, you're still trying to win games. You're still developing, playing together. Obviously, Marcus Smart is another year older. He'll probably have a less and less role as his career progresses. But I don't know. I just don't see them pressing the panic button. And I also don't see them shutting it down because they want to create a winning culture. To that point, I do think you do have a bit of a limited window, especially when you have 3 players who have now, like, when you look at John Morant, Desmond Bane, and Jaren Jackson Jr., if you go into next year, that's their 4th year as like a solid core 3 going into next year. And it's hard to keep a core 3 that's that young and good together. So I think they just try to ride it out. They try to win as many games. And if there is a small trade that is a first-round draft pick and then get some extra depth or another wing player, that's great, but we'll see.
Go get Danny Green.
Oh my god.
Danny Green just got waived, right? Yeah. What other old guys can they pick up? Rajon Rondo? Bring back Melo out of retirement?
DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh! Get him off of Showtime Basketball talking with Rachel Nichols all the time and get him on the court. Hey, maybe he'll teach Jaren Jackson how to rebound. That'd be nice.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Wishful thinking.
It is, very much so.
But they're also hard to watch. Like, it's literally just Bane running around trying to find a shot.
It's awful. Yeah. I've watched a couple of the games and it's been rough, to say the least. And now that Derrick Rose is out too, it's just even worse. And no Tillman. You're basically watching Desmond Bane, Jackson, Smart, Zaire Williams, and like big body Roddy the whole time.
I can see this team being the panic trade team that trades for Jeremy Grant.
Oh,
like, you look around the NBA and them, a lot of people talking about, like, where's Grant gonna go? Like, this is one of the teams that makes sense, right? So I could see them getting him for pretty cheap based on his contract, and then you're stuck with him for 5 years, $160 million.
Yeah, but I think that's, like, it doesn't work with them because they have so many young bigs. And yes, they'll have to give up something to get him. So, like, that might take care of that issue. But why would you want to lock in $150 million plus when you know that Bane, Ja, and Jaren Jackson are going to be up for renewal at some point in the next 2 years?
Well, most of those guys are already locked in, though, right? And they're trying to win now. So I think to go from where they are right now to the next level up, which is like real contention, they are going to have to trade for one of these guys, like Jeremy Grant, like OG. Like, that's the player type they need, right?
OG more than Grant, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Which is why I think, like, if they're going to make an offer for somebody, it should be OG. And they may have to make, like, the Kings offer for him, because I don't think Toronto wants to trade him still. I think Toronto would rather keep him and then trade Siakam.
Yo, get Siakam on this team. Probably rebounds better than Jaren Jackson anyways.
Yeah. I don't think he'd fit very well on this team.
No. No, he wouldn't, but, and I mean, someone else could rebound. That's all I'm thinking about right now. And play defense.
Barely.
I mean, he'd be a way step up from Zaire Williams, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yes.
Zaire Williams is not developing the way that they hoped they would. So, it's tough, man. You lose two of your like top big guys in Steven Adams and Brandon Clark. Lose Ja for 25. Lose Tyus Jones and D'Anthony Melton over the span of 2 years. You're shit out of luck, man. It's tough.
Tyus Jones was huge too. Like, obviously, he was like he was the Fred VanVleet to their second unit when Fred VanVleet was the second unit guy. He just made that whole kind of second unit tick, and it's important to have guards that can really distribute the ball, know how to put it in other players' hands, and get the most out of second unit guys that probably won't get many playoff minutes, but they can give you some valuable production in the regular season.
Just lead. It's enough of this depressing ass talk. Josh, give me some stats corner.
Well, going back to some very depressing ass talk. This was going into the game against Milwaukee. Julius Randle was shooting 27.6% this season, which is the worst through 5 games by any player with at least 75 plus attempts since this player in the year 2000, the year of our Lord. And this player played for many different teams, and she's most known for dating a celebrity who we're not 100% sure that he did date, but there was a whole altercation between him and a teammate based on who was actually dating this person, and there were some issues back in the day, back in the 90s. I think it was Tony Braxton, if I'm not mistaken.
Tony Braxton? What the hell?
If Tony Braxton was dating this person or his other NBA player who Josh is.
Yeah, I think it was between him and it might have been Jason Kidd.
How do I not know this? How do I not know this story? Is it Ricky Davis?
It is not, no.
It's a wing player, I'm assuming? Mid-2000s are full of wing players. It is a wing player,
yes. Yes. He was on a high-powered Dallas team that I think had Jason Kidd and Jamal
Michael Finley?
As well. No.
Oh, no. Peter was shocked.
I was like, what? Not my Michael Finley. Couldn't have been Van Exel.
Nope.
I have no idea.
Stack?
Peter, anybody? JJ.
Jim Jackson?
Jim Jackson.
Really?
Wow. Low-key Jim Jackson. Great commentator, though.
He is.
He is very good.
Yeah, I could listen to that guy talk ball all day. Excellent voice, excellent delivery, just good stuff from Jim Jackson. He studied.
Actually, I was right. It is Jason Kidd, and there's a story out there between Jim Jackson and Jason Kidd fighting over Tony Braxton.
Incredible. I'm gonna have to look this up. Incredible. Then I'm gonna listen to Unbreak My Heart afterwards. You like that, huh?
Very nice. Very nice. I have one more for you guys, quickly.
Yeah.
Can you name the highest catch-and-shoot effective field goal percentage shooters with a minimum of 20 field goal attempts via the catch-and-shoot thus far this season? Now, should I name the teams? Because it's going to be difficult, obviously, with it being 5 games of the year or 6 games of the year.
And any catch-and-shoot, not threes.
I mean, these are probably just threes because that's the way the game's played nowadays. Okay. So, catch-and-shoot, it's going to be 3-point shots.
Okay, Grant Williams.
He's number 9. Whoa. 75% effective field goal percentage, which is very good.
Did not expect that. Give me Steph. Are we not just going to go with the big dogs?
Yeah, number 3, 86.4.
Oh my god.
Pretty good.
It's crazy that there are two players better than that so far.
Kevin Durant.
One of them you're definitely not going to get.
Kevin
Actually, you
Durant.
know what? Let me give you a hint. Let's just see if you get this. Toronto.
No, Raj just said KD. Hold on.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, you said Toronto?
Yeah.
Oh, that's shocking. Can't be Scotty.
Barnes.
No. Can't be
Dennis
OG.
Schroeder.
Who said Schroeder?
Me.
Yeah, you're correct. Number 2, 89.1%
MVP.
on the catch and shoot.
89.
Oh, wait. I forgot. Ahead of Siakam. Schroeder.
This is very true.
I was... Pause. I remember I was watching the Raps broadcast and Matt Devlin was like, Snyder with the rebound. And then he's like... and I'm like, the disrespect on the best basketball player in the world.
Okay.
Snyder?
Oh, Rob Schneider really getting some love out here.
Yeah, exactly. And he corrected himself, like, no joke. I noticed that it took him, like, a good minute. He's like, I meant Schroeder, right? Schroeder. And then he's like, Schroeder, Schneider. Like, he's playing so good or some crazy thing like that. But yes, number 2.
Devlin had one of the funniest calls of all time in his first or second season with the Raptors when Peja was on the team. I don't know if you guys remember this, but when Peja hit a 3, Devlin was like, Punjabi! It's so fucking funny.
There's no way.
Yes, I swear to God. You've not seen this?
No.
Have you seen this, Raj?
No.
No, we're going to have to look that
Oh
up
my
later.
goodness.
Anyways, back to this. It's
hard to come back from
Is
that.
Paul George on this list?
No, he is not. You want to do one more guess each, and then I'll give you the teams anyway.
Sure. Raj, what do you got here? You got a nice player here?
Catch and shoot. I almost want to say Kyrie, but he hasn't played enough.
No.
Cam Thomas?
No, he'd be number 1 in off the dribble shooting probably right now.
All right, hints.
Not catch and shoot though. OKC.
Dort?
No.
Good guess, but no.
Chet.
He's been killing it though. Chet Holmgren, 92.9, number 1 in the league so far.
Loves those corners.
Wow.
He's been nice so far this year. Detroit basketball. Bench player.
Alec Burks.
There you go. 78.6%.
Why ain't fucking around
And
here?
lastly, the second best offense in the NBA, which is your Indiana Pacers.
Buddy?
A lot of options here.
Buddy? Probably not.
Nope.
Who else is on Indy?
It's not Bruce Brown.
It is Bruce Brown. Look at Raj.
Wow.
Almost cleaning the board here. 78.6%. And to round out the top 10, you got Grayson Allen. Finney Smith has gone off to a hot start. Hero. And Kawhi Leonard, 72%.
I knew Kawhi
Leonard.
was there.
Wow.
Man, he was killing it against the Lakers. in the first half.
And just quickly, the bottom 3. Chicago Bulls is number 1. Or bottom number, I guess. No, bottom first. So, who would be number 1 in terms of Chicago?
Levine? DeMar?
No.
Nope.
Patrick Williams.
Nope. Surprisingly, no. It's a good guess. but no.
Vooch?
He's awful.
No way it's Vooch.
You're missing one starter.
Kobe White.
There you go. 30%. Vooch is actually second worst, so 31.8%. And then Sacramento Kings. This one's a surprise one.
Keegan Murray.
Yes, 34.6%. I'm not sure what's going on there.
He just
That's
takes
your
bad
stuff,
shots. Yeah, he just take not bad shots. He takes shots that he shouldn't take, and then he passes up shots he should take.
Second year slump. It's okay. He'll learn. Still young,
Better.
man. That's like not even 20 yet. Or he's around 20. Let him make his mistakes. Come on now. Oh man, good stuff. Raj, good job on Stats Corner. Killed it.
Bro, I'm cleaning house just like our NBA fantasy league this year.
Wow. Josh, you hear that? Declaration of war.
It's happening. It's happening.
From
Yo, give me
last to
Lamar
first.
every week.
Last to
Give me
first.
Lamar
now.
every week.
All right. And on that note, I'm going to call it here. I want to thank everyone for listening. Please remember to rate and subscribe. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, all the major podcast platforms. 5-star reviews, good comments, please, and thank you very much. We're on all the socials. I'm talking TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, X, Josh, X. I hope you're still on it.
I am there. Let me take us out, actually. Ready?
17 points coming from your turnover.
Replay it.
With 17 points coming from your turnover. Punjabi as Peja drills it.
You gotta add that at the very end.
Sure. All right, peace.